So today I would tell the exactly some of the cases that really have tough to deal. And let's start with the first thing. So I have told you that I used to train the girls from the weaker section and all that. And I used to have a very good girl. She worked as a dyer. She used to dye the clothes and all that. And it was a very good young girl of 16, 17 years. And she was really a good worker, and she was very fast at learning and all that. So I started, and she was very good. And they used to come punctually. Nine o'clock is a factory open, and we used to work till 5 o'clock. So the keys were always lock under key and lock in key and all that. So one day she came early, like around 4:45, and said, "Ma, can you give me the keys for the factory?" I said, "Why did you come little early? Because the manager is not at." She said, "No, today I finished my work, so I have come home, come to work." And I said, "Okay, good. Take the key and go." And she had taken the key and gone. And after 20 minutes or so, she comes back and tells me, "I'm not feeling good." And I'm like, said, "You were just fine, all right. You want to not to work today, or you want to go home?" And she said, "No, no, no. I'm feeling very weak. I don't feel like working. I just feel like." I said, "Okay, just relax, sit here." And I said, "Do you want to have some coconut water? Did you not eat?" Then she said, "No, no, no. My mom scolded me, so I didn't eat last night." Then I said, "Okay, wait. I'll get you some hot milk." And I said, gave her some nice milk with a lot of sugar. And I thought she was weak and she won't be able to work. And we have to pamper these girls so much. They're in that age, adolescent age, and they were like one day their moods and whatever, it was like crazy for me. So and then I asked her, "What's your problem?" And she just told me, "Mom scolded me." I gave her some milk and all, and she went back to the factory. And after 20 minutes, my manager comes back and she tells me, "Ma'am, the Suma is very sick." I said, "What happened to her?" "I don't know. She is very sick. You need to rush." So I rushed to the factory and I see the girl there, and I was like, "What happened? You need to tell me the truth." And she tells me very calmly, "I took nitrate." It is one of the chemicals we use in a color dyeing. We use the nitrate, alum, caustic. So this nitrate is a very poisonous chemical that we used to keep in a factory, which we always are in a cupboard and all that. But everybody knows that's poison, and no, I never thought that this girl would do that. A small pinch of nitrate is enough to kill a person. She took the nitrate. And then I said, "Oh my God, what to do?" And then immediately went home. I already gave her milk, and she was like trying to faint. And then I gave her coconut water, this and that, and she fainted. And then we need to rush her to the hospital. And no, it was crazy, and we need to take her to the hospital. Andhra Mahila Sabha, those days, had to take her, rush her to the hospital, and they were not accepting her there. They're saying it's a police case because it's a suicide. And that happened in your factory, and why did she commit suicide? And she was out already. By the time I was rushing her to the hospital, she vomited twice or thrice. I think that was one blessing for me, because I gave her milk and she vomited, and she was unconscious. We took her to the hospital, and they're not admitting. uh, Maybe my stars were good. My uncle was the commissioner those days. M.B. Bhaskar Rao was the commissioner those days. So I called him and said, "Look, this is what has happened. Could you help me with this?" So immediately the local stations, they came, the police came. Then we had to they talked to the Mahila Sabha people, and they admitted her, and they started giving all. Chris, and all of you guys, I was sitting there in front of Mahila Sabha on the street right from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Just on the street, don't know what is going to happen, just praying to God that she should come out of it, because it's 99.9% there are no chances a person can survive after taking nitrate. Oh my God. At 3:30, quarter to 4, I think she came to conscious, and they started like a parrot telling that she took this nitrate because her mom scolded because she didn't work properly at home, and she was speaking to somebody. Relief, what a relief. At 4 o'clock, I came home, and I really have to thank my star that she came out of life, and she's full of life now. She's married and all that. But, that incident, what would I have done? What if I didn't have good officers to use? What if my uncle was not a commissioner those days? Times, it's so frustrating to think, do we really do, and this kind of a situation, how do we handle this people? They commit suicide in my factory, and outright the police says, ma'am, she has committed suicide in your factory, and you're responsible in it, nothing else. And I'm sitting there for hours together for praying to God that this girl has to come out of this situation. And she did come. Oh, that was at 4 o'clock. My God, I can't tell you. I still think, I feel like still I get the goosebumps whenever I think that girl committed suicide. And she came out of this only because of the milk that I gave her. The milk acted for in her stomach, and she threw up. When she threw up, most of the poison came out. That is where she was safe. So one way, taking care of our workers, pampering them, giving them milk, hot milk. Like my mom used to say, you're pampering your workers so much. What is this? They are your workers. Can't you tell them? I should tell them, did you eat? Did you drink? Did you do this? They were all young girls working there, and I used to tell them everything. No, and this is how I gave her milk, and that glass of milk and the coconut water saved that girl's life. Had she didn't throw up, she wouldn't have survived. It would have spread in her stomach, maybe in her whole body. That's one incident which I can never forget all through my life. This was crazy. This is one part of it, and then we had workers,
Lakshmi, well done. That was a good narration, and keep it up. Huh? I'll drop out now. That's a very good narration. How to take care of employees. So all the best to you. Huh? Okay, guys. Bye.
Thank you. So another incident that I used to have a very good printer. That fellow's name is Raju. He used to be a very good printer. So what these guys used to do, right? When I really my best season would be summer. Just before summer, our season starts for summer. So just before summer, we need to start our production and store up or stock up our things and all that. So we used to start. And right at the moment when the orders were in hand, this fellow used to vanish. Absenteeism, as I told you, without any intimation, nothing, they used to vanish. And I said, okay, that's not it. You start working, stay with me in the factory, and I'm going to pay you additionally. You work your regular timing, and you work after you go around, come back. If you want to work in the night, work in the night. I'm going to pay you extra for that. So I used to give him lunch, breakfast, dinner, everything. Used to be at my place in the factory. The factory was closer to my house, right? Actually, it's very close. So we used to give him everything. Like everything was on the house, and I used to pay him salaries only to take out my production. I need to meet my demand, where my supplier, where am I, which will not go back. That is, my client should never go back empty-handed when summer comes. If they have ordered me 100 sarees, I should be able to supply them those 100 sarees. That was my target. If I had 500 sarees, yes, I'm going to do it. This is what it is. So for ensuring that production, I need to pamper all these guys around. So I used to tell that guy, okay, you stay with me. So good. He started staying with me. He was in the factory working. All right. Everything was going smooth. That fellow was not married at the time. He was an unmarried young guy. To my surprise, he fell in love with my maid girl. And that girl was married with children. And this was a big case that happened those days. And again, same issue. This fellow started going away with that girl. He took her away and gone. And I was caught because he was with me in the factory. Then again, police case. And we had to go to the police station. This fellow was in the lockup. I need to, a whole scene, the police cases, dealt with all this. This is one way, then I had to counsel him a lot. Then but still, he didn't change. He didn't change. Then he had the affair with that girl, and he kept continuing. So once after he came out from the police station, I threw him out. I said, it's enough, you go. So I had and look out for a printer again. So this always continued with the skilled workers. It was always an issue getting workers after workers and then train them again. And then print as per my requirement was something challenging, because see, everybody does the printing, but printing as per our requirements, as per our designing, or as per our clientele taste is a tough thing. If somebody comes, he just prints and he goes, it's not big deal, but that's not it. So this fellow has to understand our factory. What does it need? What does our showroom needs? Where we are clients need, what it is. So train them. It used to take few months, but still, we managed. I managed that way. It was really successful. I never went back on any of my problem. Like, supply clients never went back. They were never empty-handed. So good. I did that way. I could manage all my production problems. So we also had issues with, labor taking away advances and going away. So we had one other printer. I used to have a two or three. This fellow, what happened? He said, "Mom, my grandmother passed away. We are going to the village. I need about 20,000. And then I said, 20,000 is a big money. He said, no, I need 20,000 because anyway, I said, look, at this point of time, I can afford to give about 10,000. Then finally he ended up asking 15,000. He took 15,000. Those days, 15,000 was a big money. It's not easy. When I was selling my sari for 110, 120, 15,000 was a big money. So I said, okay, take the money. And he said, you need to come back in 3 days because it's a grandmother. Your morning time is about 3 days. I said, no, I'll be back by 3 days. So 3 days gone, 10 days have gone, no trace of him. And I'm wondering what is going to happen. The production is not coming up. Only one table is working. The second table is not working. We have no printer to take care. Secondary printer is not able to do what that guy has to do. So I was like wondering. Then, that fellow I had to go searching for him. So I went all the way where he was staying. Those days it was Nabol. That was like all just out of like outskirts of Hyderabad. Gone there and figured out he was not there. Then I came to know that he started working in some other's place. So how do I get to catch hold of him? It's not about money. It's because I need my production to be completed on time. And also money. 15,000 was no big deal. It's not a joke. And I just don't want to let money go like that. It's all hard and we didn't just get it that way. So I sent my driver and asked him to figure out where he was. And we came up with the news that, one of our suppliers, we used to have common suppliers were common, like we used to supply. And I asked my suppliers who supplied clothes, colors and all this were common. They were common. There was one common guy who used to supply cloth for almost all factories in Hyderabad. So I asked him, do you know any person who has recently started a factory or a printing unit and all? And he told me, yes, ma'am, there is a lady, she's a police officer's wife and she started in Amirpet. So, can you have the address? Investigation. This is part of like I'm trying to do a lot of investigation where this fellow has gone. So we figured out. So after a lot of investigation, we got their address and so how do I get into that house? Because it's a senior most officer's house. So that fellow was very confident that I won't be able to get in because of security reasons or whatever. He thought I won't be able to go in. Then I used to work for ITC those days. And then I told my driver, look, let's go there as a client. Tell them that this lady has come from ITC. She wanted to buy some saris. The Bhadrachalam paper boards. So that's what I used to learn. Then they said, when I went in, then I told that security fellow, I came to see your mom's factory. I want to buy some clothes. Seeing the way I came and all, he let me go in. So the utter shock of my printer who was working in the factory come outlet, I went there. So I literally caught hold of him. I said, let's go. And the lady came and she said, how can you take it? I said, I don't mind letting him go. You pay me the 15,000, whatever he has taken. I was ruthless. I said, look, either I want my money or I want the worker. It's up to you to deal. And the lady said, we just started and we don't have any problem. We don't want to encounter any problems. She told the printer, you go. I'm not paying your man, the lady, you go. I got her. That's how, it's not for the money. It's the way these fellows just leave us in the middle of the work. They just go away and they are not bothered. They're just not bothered how we run it. So much of money we put in and we try to give them so much of moral support, everything. End of the day, this is what happens. After so much of coaxing and helping them, everything, he just dumped me and he has gone. And over and above that, he has taken money and I provided them all with cycles and all those days convenience, for commuting. Instead of coming by buses, you can take a cycle. All these facilities were given to them. In spite of that, if they had done that, that really was pissed me off. I said, no, I'm not going to let this guy. If I let this guy go like this, I will have a name in the market that she is very casual and anybody can take her for a ride. Because once in the market, if you get this name, we should be known as a tough master and a loving person rather than. So that's how I pulled out that guy too. So these are like some of the case studies we had to face with the workers and all. And coming to also from the sales point we used to have problems. I used to have 2 showrooms and I used to have girls working there. And I used to work for Badachalam Paperboard. Then back and forth, I used to run from the showroom to the office, and evenings I used to go there, take account of what is happening, sales and all that. We used to have people, a girl who used to work in a showroom in Himayatnagar. It was a small showroom. So I used to have one lady taking care of the whole showroom there. So, and when I go there and she used to tell, ma'am, these sarees have sold, these sarees are sold, this is what it is. We used to get an account there. And I used to sit there for a long time till about 9:30, and I used to manage the sales counter from there. So suddenly I started realizing there was like no sale, like the sale was dropping. And I was like wondering what's happening. Why is there no sale? Like not even a saree or 2 is being sold. What is happening? Then I'm like counting the sarees are there, everything is there, no sale. And that's very unusual because my sarees would sell so much, but somehow that was not happening. So then I wanted to know what's happening. Then this girl, she used to accumulate about 10-15 sarees, and she used to tell me, ma'am, this I need it for my personal the sake. Can you give me at a discounted price? Then there was no sale, nothing. I used to give her those sarees for a discounted price. And I figure out the sarees were already sold by her, and she would tell the clients, look, I'm going to do the fall picot stitching done for you, and you come back and collect the sarees. And I'm like, I didn't know about this. Then I was like, what's happening? So there's no sale. Then this girl asked me for this 10 sarees. I said, okay, you take the saree. And then she used to pay me 1, 2, 3, boom. She used to come pay me the money and all. And I'm like, oh, good, Then one day we realized, that this girl was doing something. There was a mischief going on. Why she is going to take 10 sarees and all that. I was like trying to figure out what's wrong, what's happening. She's asking me 10 sarees last week. No, she's asking me 5 sarees this week. Is she taking the sarees and selling outside? What is happening? So then I figured out, and then one day what happened, there was some electrical problem in our showroom. And I was looking at the electrical problem. In one of the electrical boxes, there were some sarees kept there. So I was like, what's happening? Then I realized this girl used to sell me sarees to them.
Huh?
She asked me for a discount price and take that margin money. The small little margin she used to be. In spite of giving them good salaries, all extra clothing for them, damaged sarees or whatever I used to give it to them. In spite of that, we faced this problem. That's so then I hired a member. I had to throw her out and then hire a person, another person. So this cycle continued, this hiring, firing, hiring process continued for some time for me. And slowly, we were trying to stabilize because we were giving good salaries and I was doing very well. I used to pay them salaries. Then slowly we stabilized. But we also used to have problems like from outside. We used to have a small showroom in Himayatnagar, right? And one fine day, we were all, I was at the showroom around 4:30. A group of Lambadi women just entered into my showroom. They ransacked the whole showroom and they're gone. And they're like, even before I could do anything, I was just literally sitting like in my chair like this. My girl was there, another girl was there, and this group of 6 Lambadis, they just came into our. My driver was sitting outside. My car was parked. The driver was there. He was like a bodyguard for me. Even he could do anything. These people came, so like it was crazy. They came. They took bundles of blouses and sarees. They vanished. And even if I complained to the police, they couldn't do nothing. Nothing was done. That was then I started, locking. Those locking a showroom and sitting. We had to lock a showroom and see who is the customer coming in, then open the showroom for us. That was how, like. Then we started keeping my driver there 24/7. My driver used to sit in front of, used to drop me at the office, then come and sit in front of the showroom to help that girl as a security. That's how we managed. That's one other part I managed. So we have that all small issues were always there, but eventually I did really good. Well, and then we had another guy who had also committed suicide. Suicide cases were going on so much in our factory because their emotional problems, the easy access for them is nitrate. Even if we give them for measure, they used to take it away. So this how we managed our issues in the workers' issues. I have managed 5, 6 cases like this. And after that, once I started interacting with their family, talking to this fellow, then we used to have a small counseling session on a Saturday evening before giving them salaries. I used to talk to them how to use their salaries, where they could do investment. If they need any help with me to buy something, I would advance them. That's how, I started working with them. And then they started accepting me and they started staying with me. No, I was very harsh. My temper was very bad. I used to literally go crazy if they do something wrong. Uh, Anything I would permit, but with the stock and all, if they were irresponsible, I would never permit. I used to go really crazy. I used to like, I know my bad temper is known even in Bhadrachalam paper boards. My boss always used to say, you're very short tempered. Major Roy always used to tell me I'm very short tempered. But I don't think, no, I don't think that was a weakness or a drawback. But I think that's the requirement for a woman entrepreneur. If she doesn't have a short temper, your employees don't listen to you. My workers don't listen to you, especially the skilled labor I used to work with. So that's how I came up. This is a small journey that I had with my labor, and I was a successful entrepreneur. Barla Garu, any questions I can answer now. I would conclude.